NonStop Local, KPAX, NBC Montana. Those stations are staffed by Montanans that live here, that care about this place, that have the best interest of the folks that live in this state and this city in mind. That there's no editorial from high basically telling us what we can and can't do or what we should and shouldn't say.
Missoula Podcast, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, in studio with Stephen Ressett and Ben Wineman. Episode 1.
Wow.
Ben, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I think it was July 18th that episode dropped. Episode 1. We had no idea what we were doing, and you were kind enough to come into our broom closet.
It's a good way to describe it.
It was a hard out. Share your story with us. Welcome back.
Thank you, guys. I told you both off air, but you should be extremely proud of yourselves. 100 episodes is a freaking accomplishment. And putting words in your mouth, you have gotten better. From episode 1, you really have. It's been fun to listen to and watch your guys' personalities come out, and you guys gotten better at asking questions. And I mean, the people you've had on is just fabulous. So
thank you.
I'm very proud that I always will be. We could be 10,000 episodes in. I will always
Number
be
one.
episode 1. That's fun.
Now you can put this on your resume. You are the first returning guest of the Missoula Podcast.
Yes. I joked with you guys a couple minutes ago. I think every 100 episodes just have me on is this is the marker of time. If the Ben Wineman episode pops in your feed, we've got 100 more.
That's awesome. Well, I need to thank you. I listened back to episode 1, which I encourage everyone to do. Your story is incredible and phenomenal, and how you got to where you are and how you're still working towards Bristol. It sounds like in that episode,
Sure.
The next SVP, we called it the BW.
The BW. Yeah.
Your show. One of the questions we asked you where you were trying to grow in was your genuine curiosity and becoming a better interviewer, asking better questions. Now, for me, I don't know about Steven. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but episode 1 didn't know what we were doing and was not a great interviewer, probably really good at asking questions.
You guys were great.
But that episode has pushed me for the last 100 plus to be more curious, to ask a question, a deeper question, and go further. And I have found that the third question is typically where the meat is, where the gold comes out, because people are now asked questions they've never been asked before.
Yeah.
And you get a genuine. So I want to thank you, because from day one, you've pushed us to create great episodes.
Wow. Thank you. That's a huge compliment. I think I loved watching the two of you. You really can listen. You listen to episode 1, which I did, 2 years ago. I haven't done it since, but you guys are, well, first off, you guys are great, but the questions and the level of depth you guys are getting with these people, which is critical for this podcast. I think it was a goal of your guys is just let's not be surface level here. Let's actually get in and get to know these folks. It comes out in all the episodes. And I think our society kind of needs that. We need people just to have genuine conversations and what's going on inside, not just on the surface. I think you guys have been able to extract that. It takes some practice, but you have 100 episodes of practice now. It's great.
Unpack a little bit for me, Ben, what that experience was like for you, us giving you a call out of the blue, come into this studio, I guess you could, if I'm being really generous to us. Why did you do that? And what was that experience like for you the first time, starting us all off?
Well, why did I do it? I've got great friends in this room, that have great friends that have really, really given back to my family, my wife, Ashley, and I. Steve, you've known my wife for going on 15 years now, since college. And Nick and his wife, Katie, behind the camera, Katie's a real estate agent, and Nick and Katie were one of 20 people at our COVID wedding, so why I did it was because helping out a friend. And I think when you guys approached me and you're we're trying to start this podcast, we want to meet people in Missoula. We want to tell cool stories and listen and provide spotlights to these great businesses and products and stuff. I'm yeah, let's do it.
I want to go a little deeper with that, because first time I met you in person was the day we recorded.
Yeah.
And in there you talked about how just through business, you meet people, and then it's like all of a sudden you see them everywhere in community.
And
I think you and I ran into each other 3 times in the next 2 weeks.
We did.
It was fate. It's crazy. But I remember when Stephen and Nick were like, "Hey, we should bring Ben on." You know, he's the face of Missoula. I don't know about the face of the state. Was like, yeah, we need this guy to help us launch, and brought you in. And they talked about how genuine you are, your sense of community. I mean, we talked about this in episode 1, and I've realized, like, fate or not, having you as guest number 1, you are the definition of what the Missoula Podcast is about. We wanted to bring together community, storytelling, great people, genuine curiosity. So I can't thank you enough. I mean, we could talk. I mean, so much of the last 100 episodes.
Yeah,
got to give you credit.
I came in for an hour, and that's all I've done. Yeah. I mean, you guys have done an incredible job of making this last. I mean, you guys probably see. I think there's a stat somewhere. It's like, you know, there's thousands of podcasts that start every year. Barely any of them make it past 10 episodes. You guys have like times
50%.
Yeah,
make it to 10.
Right. Yeah,
and less than 5% make it to 100.
And I feel like every time you mentioned, I met you the first time on that taping day, and then I think we ran into each other 3-4 times. We have multiple times since then, but I feel like every time I see you, Brandon, you like, I ask how it's going, how the podcast is going. You're like, the numbers just keep going up and up and up. Yeah. And it's been, so I'm really proud of you guys. Well, like, it's been fun, and it's such a cool Missoula community thing to make this happen. So awesome. Kudos on you guys.
Thank you. Let's go back to where we finished 2 years ago, if we can. You have a segment called Help Me Ben that go back, listen to episode 1 to learn where that came from. I believe it was at Haley. Help me Haley. Spokane.
Yes. Haley
had that going.
Yeah.
You wanted to do something, your network, you guys did some research, wanted to make greater impact because media was kind of not in a good place. And so you started Help Me Ben. Tell us about the Help Me Ben project.
Yeah. So we felt like viewers wanted to have in their journalism that they received on a nightly basis. They wanted to not just be told what the problems were in the world. They wanted to actually see solutions. So we call it kind of solution journalism. And in this day and age, when you have so many different options for media, whether that be online or on social media or on television or radio, podcasts, we found that it's really important that the audience feels connected to the people that are delivering that news more than they were 15, 20 years ago. So I think we started Help Me Ben. We just actually celebrated our 4th anniversary in June, 4 years of doing it. And
congratulations.
Thanks. Yeah. We've helped over 200-300 Montanans in the last 4 years, mostly small things, mostly just like, a lot of it's like fun stories.
Are you still getting the emails where you're just like,
all the time,
you need to just call the police on
all the
this
time.
one?
Yeah. I like once a day, honestly, like once a day, I probably get an email from someone being like, I need your help. I'm something about incarceration or drug issues or child custody. And believe me, when I say I would love to be able to help, I usually just email those folks back and I'm like, you need a lawyer. You need, that's not what I can provide in my role.
But how great that your doors open, the platforms where people think they can come to you, or
people feel comfortable enough to reach out and ask. Yeah, awesome. Absolutely. So I think I'll just highlight a few that we've done the last couple years that I think are really cool. During the election season, so basically from like last September through November, you guys probably saw, the audience probably knows, probably getting cold sweats when I talk about it, but we were all of Montana was just inundated with political advertisements from both sides, making very bold claims about each other and what each other will do or will not do as candidates. And so I think we used the Help Me Ben franchise for those couple months. We called it the Truth Tracker, the Help Me Ben Truth Tracker. And so we took a 30-second political ad from John Tester and a 30-second political ad from Tim Sheehy, and we tracked it. We gave a little ranking system of like, this is true, this is mostly true, this is pretty neutral, this is false, mostly false, this is false. We got we got a lot of pushback from the campaigns, both sides being like, and basically going to the campaigns being like, "Hey, like prove these claims to us. Like, where do you go? Why are you guys making these claims? Show us your evidence." And, they both come back and then we have to make a decision on what's actually true, what's actually not true. And I think that was the audience had such a great reaction to that because, they went to us with trust of, okay, you tell us what to believe and what not to believe,
right?
And hold these politicians accountable to their words and their actions and what the claims that they're making on these.
Well, I imagine that's huge because now the local media, who has burnt trust,
sure,
in a sense over time, is now regaining trust from the people in your local community, local community from the media. Because you mentioned before, when people see that Fox logo or ABC, they make an assumption here in Montana,
sure.
and
sure,
you guys are local. You're not the national affiliate of Fox News. You're just on the Fox
totally
network. And so,
and I think it's so critical to tell the audience is like, when you take something called like the quote unquote media, people always think, oh, like CNN or MSNBC or Fox News or whatever. The local television stations that I'm a part of, NonStop Local, KPAX, NBC Montana, those stations are staffed by Montanans that live here, that care about this place, that have the best interest of the folks that live in this state and this city in mind, that there's no editorial from high basically telling us what we can and can't do or what we should and shouldn't say. So the bias there is really critical, that there is no bias. Mm-hmm. Our job is to basically just take both sides, present it to the audience, and let the audience decide what they think.
Go ahead.
I'm sure you obviously have some political leanings, whichever way, and you don't need to go into that. But what is that like, having to check your biases often and combat yourself to be as open-minded as possible on both ends of the spectrum? Like, is that a daily challenge for you, or walk me through that a little bit, Ben?
That's a great question. I mean, journalists are human, and humans have bias regardless of where they go. Journalists are trained from the second we start journalism school, drilled into our heads that you cannot put your own personal opinion in this. And when you watch CNN or you watch MSNBC or Fox News, people think that's news, and it's just not. It's opinion. It's 23 hours of opinion and maybe an hour of news. When you watch our newscast, it is news. You're not going to get any opinion. You're going to be told what you need to know in this community, and go from there. It is. You said, is it a daily challenge? It truly is a daily challenge, especially around election season. I feel it heightened a little bit. That I'm super self-aware of little things like who I'm like, even when I'm out in the community, like what I'm saying in the community, if people come up to you and say hi, like, they badmouth a certain candidate in front of me, and I have to I have to be really careful about how I respond to that. Right. But even in the newsroom amongst my colleagues, like we generally have like multiple layers of processes that we go through to make sure that we're not overstepping or putting in our own voice or presenting it in a way that one side would not be happy with. If that makes sense. So yeah, it's a daily challenge.
When you were going through that Help Me Ben project and essentially fact checking.
Yeah.
Did you ever come to a point where you were like, dang it, that's not true, I really wish that was, and it changed you, or vice versa?
Yeah.
Were your eyes ever opened to
the
noise, I guess?
For sure. My eyes were definitely open. I think what I learned is that both sides try to prop themselves up and shoot down their opponent. Both sides do. And I think that became very clear in our reporting that we and the campaigns, I was on the phone almost daily with these campaigns, and they were, I think they recognize the platform that we have, and that if we go on the air and we say that John Tester's lying about this or Tim Sheehy's lying about that, we have to be very careful with that and careful with those relationships. So it's a delicate walk. It's a delicate balance. We don't always get it right. But I definitely opened my eyes to like, yeah, this is not just a one side misrepresenting the truth. It's both sides, because what they're trying to gain is pretty important for our society and our daily lives.
Episode 1 ended with a Help Me Ben story.
Yes.
There was a lady who had her father had passed away, and she found a Japanese flag from World War II.
Yes.
That had a bunch of Japanese calligraphy on that.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys had just found a translator, and you worked with some publishers or journalists in Japan. Mm-hmm. And over time ended up finding 99-year-old man who was the owner of the flag. And you were trying to figure out how to get the flag to him. Mm-hmm. Pick us up there. How'd that story play out?
Fabulously. We called it Returning Honor, because the flag is an honor flag. So back in the 1940s, the Japanese soldiers, when they get sent off to World War II, they would put the flag on the ground. It's the Japanese flag. It's the red sun in the middle with the white background, and the whole community, the entire community, would come in and they would write their names on this flag. And it was a symbol of the soldier is taking his community, his family, his people around him in his life into battle with him. So these were extremely personal flags. And so when her name was Brenda. So when Brenda out of Helena. So when Brenda came to me and was like, this needs to go back to the family. At that time, we probably didn't think that the soldier was still alive. But shockingly, I'll never forget where I was. I was in Ireland with my wife on our honeymoon in 2022. And I got the call from my bosses being like, we found him and he's alive. Kenzo Kobayashi was his name. And so we basically worked with the Japanese journalists. There was a moment for like a 2-month stretch there where there was a potential that we were actually going to go over to Japan and bring it over with us. That ended up not working out, but we shipped the flag over to the Japanese journalists and they filmed Kenzo receiving the flag. And so, the images are just incredible. He's a 99-year-old Japanese man sitting at this table in a nursing home, and they open the flag out. They unveil the flag in front of him. And at first he's kind of sitting back in his chair and arms folded. And it's just kind of like, he's like, yeah, that was, World War II was a long time ago. And I don't want to think about that. I just don't want to think about it. And then suddenly on the video, you can see kind of this like recognition come over him. And he kind of starts leaning forward and he starts looking at the names and he goes, oh, that was the town mayor. And that was the school teacher. And that was the dentist. And this was the trash man. And this is my cousin. This is my uncle. And he just like this recognition, you could see that he was like literally getting thrown back in time. People he probably had not thought about in literally 70 years just flooded back to him. So it was a beautiful moment. So we put that together, did a 30-minute documentary about it. And we got to show Brenda, we took the video and we showed Brenda the video of Kenzo receiving the flag, and she just starts bawling and the emotion that she felt of just, my family is now free. This family is now free. It's these two families just that are healing in a way, the honors returned to both of them. We put that together in a 30-minute documentary and won an Edward R. Murrow Award for that, which is I'm really, really proud of. One of the highest journalism honors. So those stories are not very common. But when you get one of those types of stories, you just don't let it go and you keep going. And that one, I hope not, but that will either, when I eventually retire years from now, that'll be one of my
Congrats,
ones.
man. That's
Thank
so
you.
cool.
Yeah.
Really cool.
It's awesome. It's awesome.
Ben, in the last couple of years since we had a chance to sit down with you, what are some of the ways that you've seen yourself grow or continue to progress as an anchor, as a journalist? I know you're constantly seeking to be better and better. And I know that that's been honored in ways, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But what are some of the ways you've gotten better over the last couple of years?
Oh, man. I think
your makeup skills improved?
No, actually they've regressed. Okay. The makeup skills have regressed. Actually, I'm not putting my bosses on blast here. I actually got called into the office like 2 weeks ago being like, we need you to wear some more makeup. Mostly just because like my face, I'm very white. And because I'm so white, they have to turn the lights down in the studio. And it got to the point where our studio is Nick's fixing you can't see Nick's fixing the lights here behind the camera. No, they had to turn the lights down so much that we finally were like, this is too dark. You need to wear makeup so we can turn the lights up. So yes, my makeup skills actually have regressed. I think both, you both are fathers. We just had our second child in February, a little boy. We have a 2.5-year-old girl. Nothing will change your perspective on things like being a dad, and having Quinn 2.5 years ago, and now having Luke. I think I just have gained so much more perspective on stories. It sounds, how do I say this? When you're in my job and you have to report on really tough stuff, I think before children, I would report on a car crash that killed someone, or a murder that happened, or child abuse or sexual assault. And I think I had just calloused myself to delivering that news. Because you kind of have to, because you're doing it constantly. I think children, when you become a dad, it really changes your perspective on those types of stories. That when I hear about a child that gets, killed or sexually assaulted or something horrible happened to them, I think about my own kids, and I didn't have that thing to draw on before I had Quinn and Luke. So I think that before kids, I definitely was not cold and hard when I delivered the news. I tried to deliver it with compassion, but I think I can draw so much more of a relatability to our audience when I'm talking about those types of stories than I did before. So that's probably something that's improved. And then I think just every year that I do this now, I just started in May. I just started year 10 at the station. Yeah. It's the only adult job I've ever had.
It's crazy.
And it's the only place I've worked in my adult life. And so I'm just starting year 10. And every year that I do this, I gain just a little bit more knowledge on Montana, a little bit more knowledge on Missoula. And looking at, and I get farther away from the kids that we're bringing in to become journalists. And that's been really, I kind of lean into that more every year. We get these 21, 22, 23-year-old kids that have never been on their own before. They're excited to start their careers. They've never been to Montana. They're getting paid nothing. They work horrible hours, just like I did 10 years ago. And one of my great joys in my job is I get to take them under my wing and basically put them through grad school and blast them off into their next market after a year or two here in Missoula. And we've put people all over the country now into all these big places. And I get a little pride in that I'm the minor league baseball manager watching them go to the show. That's awesome. And it's like, good luck, kid. Don't forget us when you make it to the Today Show or, Chicago or New York or whatever. So yeah, so I think I've improved on that a lot. I've had to improve on that a lot, of being the father figure, the big brother figure, the mentor figure in our station. So
let's go to our rapid fire questions, Stephen. So Ben, I owe you an apology. We owe you an apology.
Yes.
We did not have rapid fire questions on episode 1.
Yes.
Which when I went back this week to listen back to episode 1,
yeah, the
whole purpose was I wanted to hear your answers just to see if they've changed in 2 years. And unfortunately, we don't have that data.
Sure.
So this is genuine, real rapid fire questions.
Is this 102, 103?
Oh, I don't know. This is going to be
110, 110
somewhere.
Okay.
One.
Yeah.
in the one teens.
So this is my first. Treat this as my first time.
Yeah,
This is great.
So,
what do you got for me?
what was your first initial memory of Missoula, Montana?
The bear on campus, the bear statue on campus. My parents met their freshman year here, and college sweethearts. So the first time I ever stepped in Missoula I was like 8, and my parents took us to campus, and my sister and I stood on top of that bear. The metal, everyone in Missoula knows what I'm talking about, on the oval. And we took a picture, and that picture was like in our house I will never forget that picture. So my first memory of Missoula is the bear.
Bear.
What's your go-to coffee spot in Missoula?
I'm a Seattle guy. So I know it's not a great answer. I do love Starbucks. If it's a local place, I like the Den out in Lower Miller Creek area. We go there a lot. We just walk from our house and go over there. So we actually live by each other, by the way.
I was just like made a note. After
you have a Celtics
record,
flag.
We need to have a conversation.
You have a Celtics flag out in your front.
Wow.
And a Texas flag. Yeah. Every time I drive by, I'm like, yeah, that's Brandon's house.
Wild.
I'm not stalking.
Yeah, I don't know where you live. This just got creepy. Favorite restaurant in Missoula?
The place I always send people is the Tamarack. That is like just a great, like there's something in the menu for everyone. Great atmosphere, downtown, right on Front Street. Yeah, Tamarack.
I know the answer to this one now. What zip code do you live in?
59803.
Hey, neighbor.
That changed. We actually just moved like last year. We were by the mall. So we were 01. And then Katie Balla helped us out, our real estate agent. And we bought a house in Lower Miller Creek, right by Jeanette Rankin Elementary.
Crazy.
Yeah.
What is the weirdest thing about Missoula to you?
The weirdest thing about Missoula, Reserve Street. That's the weirdest thing about Missoula. I think every time I get on Reserve Street, I feel like my soul leaves me a little bit. I'm stuck in traffic, and I'm like,
you grew up in Seattle.
I did. I grew up outside of Seattle, so not like downtown. So I'm not dealing with traffic every day, but
it's different when you're a passenger in the back seat.
Correct. When you're driving, when I have 2 kids screaming, wanting snacks and water and turn the music up, yeah, okay. You both get that. Yeah. So Reserve Street. What are some of the things that people said? I'm curious.
I don't think anybody's gone with Reserve, but the streets, the slant streets.
That's weird.
Malfunction Junction.
Yeah.
Brennan's Wave. The fact you can surf.
Sure.
In Missoula, Montana.
I would say that's weird. That's cool.
That's
people.
Cool.
It's an often response. Common response.
That's the majority of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you love most about Missoula?
I love how proud people are to be from Missoula. Like when you meet someone, if you're outside of the city, either in Montana or around the country, and you say you're from Missoula, people are very proud to be from Missoula. That's something that is very unique to this town, unique to Montana, really. That I don't think I've ever been anywhere in the country where the pride that there's not that level of pride that people have when they say they're from Montana and Missoula. So yeah, I'd say the pride.
Ben, is there a particular book you've read that has made a significant impact on your life?
Besides the Bible, for sure. I mean, found Christ in college, and that was a huge orienting factor in my life and my walk. Other than that, I'm a big nonfiction guy. So any nonfiction book, a historical, I'll just throw one out here. Okay. A historical fiction book called The Killer Angels by Jeff Shara, Michael Shara, excuse me, his son, Jeff. It's a Civil War book that I read it when I was 11, and I was like, oh, so like you can actually you can be a creative writer and talk about this. And it kind of helped me open my eyes to like, oh yeah, you can actually tell cool stories and get into history and that kind of thing.
How about your current favorite book that you like to read to Quinn?
We are right now on Give a Mouse a Cookie. If you give a mouse a cookie, here's Steven's nodding. Yeah. If you give a mouse a cookie is like that every night. I have to I have to be like, honey, we can read something else. And she's like, nope, cookie. I'm like, okay, all right. For the 50 millionth time, if you give a mouse a cookie, he's going to want a glass of milk.
That's awesome. Let's jump back into your story.
Sure.
So you were the young superstar making his way up in the anchor game here in Missoula, and you said earlier that you're transitioning to this more of a mentor role.
Yeah.
As you continue to progress in your career,
sure,
of course. Walk us through like some of the best advice or best things that you're trying to impart into these younger people coming straight out of college and working terrible hours.
Yeah.
They want to make a go of it because obviously, this is a challenge.
It is. The thing I'm always trying to get them to do is loosen up. I think a lot of folks, and I was like this too. Most people come in and they are stiff and they are worried about messing up and they're worried about making mistakes. And I always have to tell people, our reporters, just be yourself. Like the audience wants you to be yourself. They don't want you to be stiff newsman and like talk like this and don't show personality. Like they don't want that. If that's not why they'll tune in and why they'll care about the story you're trying to tell. So I'm always trying to like tell our younger reporters, write the way you talk. So if you're writing a script or you're writing a stand-up or something, write it how you would just talk to your mom. Like I always tell them, like, think about like how to wrap your mind around a story would be if your mom called you today and was like, what's the story you're working on today? You would just have a normal conversation with her and tell her like basically what you need to know. And so I'm like, okay, great. Capture that and put it in the script. We call it kind of police talk. Like take all the big words out, like the words that the audience is going to get confused by, the audience has no idea about. Just talk write how you talk. So, and other than that, like it truly is like when we get young kids in here, and I say this for coming from literally personal experience. You're learning how to be an adult. You're learning how to be a professional. And so how to interact in a news or in a professional setting, how to interact with people one-on-one. When I go out to a story or I'm making a phone call, like what's proper etiquette, like all those things, like we have to teach them. And so I think I kind of view our station as kind of a finishing school for a grad school, basically for journalists that come in here. And then they graduate, quote unquote, after 2 years. And then they blast off and go make more money and have better hours and way better stories and, bigger stories. And so, yeah, it's fun. I have to sometimes put myself, what was 23-year-old Ben like when he moved to Missoula? And I have to kind of give him some grace as well. So I'm like, yeah, you probably would have done the same thing,
How's the hate mail?
Oh man, the hate mail
still coming or?
Yeah. I mean, that's part of the job, and I will say, overall our station, so we're NonStop local. We're the ABC and Fox affiliate here in town in Missoula. And I really do feel like we've had this momentum, like more than I've ever felt in my career here, that we finally are, because we're a quick history lesson. NonStop Local's only been on the air for like 16 years. KPAX and NBC Montana, great organizations, great news programs. They've been on for 60 years. And so when you get that institutional habits for folks, it's hard to turn them. And they do great work at KPAX and NBC. But I feel like there's just kind of this momentum right now for our station where we're getting, the reason I say that is we're getting a lot more messages, good and bad. We get a lot more people reaching out and having opinions on things and opinions on how we're presenting things and opinions on what we say. And so I have to, I can't remember if I said this in the first episode, but I have a folder that I get all my emails. I usually get probably 5 or 6 a day, good and bad. and I put them all in a folder. And then if I want to read them, I can. If I don't, my news director has access to that email folder, and he'll just kind of go in and take them out.
You said when you had first started, one of the rules was you could respond to the email, but then you send it to your news director just to get it out, process.
Yep.
Have you grown in that area? Are you still sending emails to the news director? Have you little thicker skin, able just to delete?
Definitely thicker skin for sure. And I kind of just realized that it's not worth my time to reach out to those folks and defend ourselves, because they're gonna, especially over email. I'll tell you a quick story. I had a guy. We did a story about, this is a couple months ago. So something that I don't remember exactly, but something that President Trump did or didn't do. Let's just put it at that. A man called our station and he was furious that we were misrepresenting the president. He felt like we were misrepresenting the president. And so he called our station wanting to complain. And I answered the phone. And he kind of like was taken aback for a second. He's like, wait, you answer the phone? I'm like, yeah. Like it rings 2 feet from me when I sit at my computer. What do you want to know? Well, let's talk about it. And having that like over the phone interaction was so much more positive and beneficial to that quote unquote relationship than if I tried to do that over an email.
Sure. Totally.
And so I'm not, this is not me saying, call me every time. If you have opinions. But yeah, he walked away being like, oh, okay. Like, he's not an evil man. He's not trying to like skewer President Trump. He's just a journalist presenting both sides and letting the audience make their decisions. I might agree with that. I might not agree with that, but this is what's going on. And this is the truth. So that was it was just like a realization for me of like, yeah, I don't need to, sometimes these people like you can't persuade them, and you can't, even if you try to defend it and you're completely in the right and you're completely, you did nothing wrong as a journalist, they're never going to believe you. So yeah, it always comes. I very rarely get it in person, which is nice. I'm usually like I'm walking around Costco with my 2 kids, putting in, things of chicken and, toilet paper, and people aren't coming up to me being like, that report you did on Tuesday, like, what are you doing? That doesn't happen.
People are
thankfully
very respectful.
Yeah, for sure.
That's so good to hear.
I definitely get, people always ask me like, do you how often do you get recognized in public? And I think, usually every time I go out, I get someone comes up and says hi, or like, and I'm walking through like a restaurant or like Costco or something at the grocery store, eyes kind of follow me. You can kind of get a sense of people are like, or like they start whispering to the person that they're with, kind of thing. Like, oh, that's Ben Wineman. I will be completely honest that 2 things that I like about that. One, it is a nice little dopamine hit. Like truly, I think anyone would agree that, yeah, it's nice to be recognized. It's nice to be like people, recognize my face. Like, hey, cool. I'm a D-list celebrity. That's awesome. That's because that's truly what I am. I'm like a D-list celebrity.
You've dropped. I think you said C.
Did I really? Time. Well, I probably have.
Wow.
But it's nice that like people like, it is a good reminder for me that like when we are doing our show, we are talking in a room to a camera with no audience, and we're just blasting it out there and hoping people respond. And so when I get that face-to-face interaction with people, even if it's just, hey, it's the news guy, like that is a nice little reminder to me of like, yeah, people are watching, people are listening, people are taking it in. It matters to people.
I think we can relate to that.
Yeah.
We're here.
Yeah.
In a small room, 4 walls.
Yeah. You're hoping
there is
like
that
it.
dopamine hit when you see somebody at Costco and, hey, listen to your podcast. Like, it's really cool.
Yeah.
But then I was trying to remind myself, this is Missoula, Montana, born and raised here. Population's like,
yep,
I'm going to be recognized by guys I went to school with.
Yeah. I think my wife's a born and raised as well. She's a teacher at Hellgate High School. She gets recognized more often than I do because she's got 150 kids every year.
Still Missoula.
It's still Missoula. It's her town. It's not my town. It's her town. Yeah.
So you said NonStop Locals getting some momentum.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about some of the recent awards that I saw that you guys have won. And then like go a little deeper. Like,
I don't know that we have time for all the awards, Ben. So if you just give us like 5 or 6.
Well, and what I mean by that, like, what does that mean to you? And why are you guys winning, you guys and gals?
Yeah.
Winning awards. What are you doing?
Yeah, so every year we have the EB Craney Awards, which are the Montana Broadcasters Association Awards. Basically the best of journalism, radio and television for the whole state. And basically a month and a half ago, we finally, for the first time, I think in our station's history, won Newscast of the Year, which is all the stations from across the state of Montana submit a newscast, and our team finally won. And that was such a cool moment for us as a team to celebrate that of we feel like we're finally getting recognized for the journalism, the detail that we're putting in, the effort that we're putting in. And so that was just a fabulous night. And in that, my Help Me team and I won a few awards. I won Broadcaster of the Year. It's my second straight year on that, which is really cool. And very humbling. And that was a special evening. So to what we're doing, I really have to give credit to our management that the cool thing about our station is that we are family owned. So we are, if you don't know local television stations across the country, 4 or 5 or 6 companies own 60 to 70 different stations across the country. KPAX and NBC Montana are both owned by corporations basically that are not Montana based corporations. We are owned by a family, the Coles family, that is out of Spokane, Washington. They have KHQ television in Spokane, which is 70, 80 years old. And we have Spokane, all of Montana, and the Tri-Cities, Washington, and that's it. And so the cool thing about that is that we can have a lot more leeway to go tell these stories, to go to Japan, to do Help Me Ben-esque stuff that maybe some other corporations don't and don't have the time or the resources to do. So I think that finally the audience and the people that are watching our station are finally recognizing that we're telling stories that are different than other places across the state.
What are some of the metrics you guys look at that would be different from a traditional corporate station?
Like metrics like audience number and stuff like
right,
that?
I'm sure all of them look at audience viewership.
Yep.
But when you guys are doing Help Me Ben or doing some more like local investment, I'm sure you have to track those and see if it moves the needle at all.
Sure. It all is television ratings and clicks. What stories are resonating with people on social media, on our website. We've started this whole new digital kind of newscast that people can kind of flip on 24/7. That's something that's new because that's where things are going to be going in the next 15, 20 years, at least in our business. I don't think people always ask me like, is local news going to die? Like the way of, especially television, like, who reads a newspaper anymore? Not a lot of people listen to the radio anymore. Is local TV going to kind of go the same way that those are kind of slowly going? I think the folks that are watching at 5 o'clock evening newscasts, as they slowly start to pass away over the next 15, 20 years, people in our generation are going to still want local news. They're still going to want to know what's going on in their communities, but it will be in a digital form. It'll be in a podcast form. It'll be in social media. So we are slowly as a company starting to not stop the linear television, because that's obviously the majority of our viewers, but start trying to push people towards, there's other ways to watch it. There's other ways to consume it. There's other ways to experience that journalism.
Which is interesting. Like I grew up, much like you talk about growing up in your family, you'd watch the 10 o'clock news, like as a routine. It was like that in our home. Mm-hmm. But seeing the changes in different generations and the demographics, like I am not it's 10 o'clock, we got to turn on the news at all. I see it more social media. Yeah. And I was reminded of that recently because my grandmother, who she's got to be home by 10. We have a family event because of the news. Sure. Like it is. Yeah. It is. And the news is truth. And the news is where we get all information.
Yes.
And so it would be a challenge to, how do you get the story, the relevant information to all people at the right time in the right format?
Yeah.
You guys got a lot of work ahead of you.
Yeah, we do. And I think something that I'm proud of that I think people can lead and rely on is in this business, the vast 95% of the journalists you see on a television screen from our station, from any station in the state, are going to be here for 2 years and they're going to leave.
Yeah.
It's this very, very small, select few people, the anchors, the weather meteorologists, the sports anchors that are here for decades and decades that decide to plant their flag. I think we talked about last podcast, but finding your pond and being like, nope, I don't want to go to Seattle anymore. I don't want to go to ESPN and Sports Center. Like, I'm planting my flag in Missoula. I'm planting it in Montana. And I think we need people. If Montanans and Missoulians want to get the news and want to get the truth and want to understand what's going on in their world around them, we need more people to make Montana home and become journalists in the state and not just leave, which is those people are, Montana doesn't have the finances to make reporting a full-time lifestyle here, but I can be an anchor and live in this state and live in this town and support my family and be a great community member and provide great journalism and raise the next crop of journalists for our country. So yeah, it sounds, maybe I'm making it sound more noble than it actually is, but I do think it's really important that we have people like myself or Jill Valley or Maritza Giorgio or, Laurel Staples that are decided to raise their families here. And this is our state and we care about this place and this is our home and we're going to provide the truth to those people.
It's awesome, Ben.
Yeah.
Last question to get you out of here on.
Yeah.
What advice do you have for the hosts of the Missoula podcast as we try to endeavor to make this a decade-long thing like you have?
Oh man. Well, you guys don't need advice. You guys are doing a great job. I think the cool thing I've noticed with you guys is you have every and I, to be clear to the audience, I have no idea who you're interviewing next or whatever. So I'm not, behind the scenes, but is it Tuesday morning or Wednesday? Tuesday morning. Every Tuesday morning. That's right. I open up my phone and my podcast app and the new podcast the Missoula Podcast drops in my feed. And I have no idea who it's going to be. And I think that is the coolest thing is that you guys have done a shotgun spray of the types of people and the groups of from these people are a part of. It's not one thing. It's 50 million different things in this city. So I think if I can encourage you would be to keep doing that is to it sounds random, but it's just every time I pop in, the episode pops in my feed. I'm like, this is completely a random, I didn't even think of that. This was a thing and you guys found it. So keep finding those cool stories and a variety of stories. I think is the stories you guys are trying to tell is awesome. So you got me.
Well, thank you.
You're doing great. We'll see you for episode 200.
We did talk about, I think you called it the red light. We had some phrase for it, but how when you sit down and the camera turns on, when that red light hits, the drama, the tension, the real life, you have to turn that off.
Yeah.
And that was at episode 1. We talked about it. And
do you feel like you've had to do that?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. You caught me on a good day. I don't know, Steven, there was nothing had to be shut off today, but there were episodes recently that going into recording that morning, there was life, drama, disappointment.
Always is.
And you have to, and it's a skill that you have to learn and be able to compartmentalize. And
it's a muscle.
Yeah.
You have to work the muscle. You have to work it out. And you guys are, 100 episodes in, you're strong now. And that's,
I don't know about that.
You are. You basically have gone to the gym for the last 2 years and worked out your interviewing skills, your voices, the dynamic between the two of you, the dynamic with your guest, literally building this space. You guys are, we'll see if for 200.
We'll see you at 200.
We will have you back. Thanks for being here, man. Appreciate you.
Thank you guys.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Ben.
it.